Ladies and gentlemen, boys and NBs, welcome back to Warzone, and it's time to go over the long-range meta, primarily the fully automatic long-range meta with a few others sprinkled in. Before we get into this, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Over 85% of you are not subscribed, and I would love for you to find your way back. I've got a bombshell of a video coming tomorrow you absolutely don't want to miss. I'm about to give you a sneak peek on that. So let's get into this and talk about the very first gun on this list, and it's one you're never going to see coming. There's all kinds of guns sprinkled throughout this that are absolutely top tier meta that no one is using. This is not clickbait. This will change your game. All right, so first and foremost, throw the Kar 98 in the trash because there is a new king of the snipers on the fields right now, and that is the FJX Imperium. This gun has a one-shot headshot range of anywhere on the map. You can hit a 1200 meter headshot. You can hit a 5-meter headshot. The FJX Imperium is the king. This is the build that I'm running. This is kind of a quick scope build, though you could make it faster. I keep the Rib 400 to keep some stability in this gun. You could also slow it down to hit longer snipes with the longer barrel. However, for this build, we're going to use the Nil Sound 90, which is an attachment we have not talked about in a very long time outside of DMZ. The reason we're using the Nil Sound 90 is this thing has a one-shot headshot range of infinity, so we do not need the range from the Sonic Suppressor. Our first damage range is at 480. However, our damage range on our heads stays above 400 all the way out. I will put on screen here the damage profiles versus the Kar 98. This thing is insane. These stats are directly from SimGG, and this has been tested. This gun absolutely fries people at all ranges. We have a 604 millisecond aim down sight speed, so it's slightly slower than the Kar 98. However, we're going to rechamber almost as fast. You cannot tell a difference in your rechamber from the Kar 98. This thing is insane. With 1,218 meter per second bullet velocity, you are going to fry cross map as well as be able to quick scope. Like I said, you could go ahead and throw on the long barrel and push that velocity all the way up to 1,383.4 meters per second, but there's really not a need for that much bullet velocity unless you're doing some very, very long sniping across Urzikstan. We're going to use the high velocity ammunition because number one, we don't have the high grain option on this gun, so it's not even something we should use because, I mean, it's locked. We can't get to it, but we shouldn't use it anyway because, once again, we do not need to push that damage range because we will crack on the chest at any range and we will one-shot headshot at any range. This is better than the Cat AMR in every way as well. So with this high velocity ammunition, again, over 1200 meter per second bullet velocity, using the Chimera RYL33 laser so we can get our sprint to fire and ADS speeds up as high as possible. We're then going to throw on the Rib 400 as our stock so we can get all of that stability up. We'll get a little bit of hip fire for panic shots in the event we need them, or if you want a trick shot. You also get some recoil control to help recenter, as if you don't remember, the Imperium does kick very hard after being shot. Yes, this will murder some of our mobility, but we're not using this gun to get around the map. We're using this thing to murk people, and it only hurts our ADS by 2%. And then with our last attachment, you have two options. You can use the FJX Blast to get a faster rechamber speed and get to 57 shots per minute, or you can have 50 shots per minute, and instead of using that bolt, you can then throw on either the long barrel to get your velocities up, or you can throw on the Heinrichter optic, and with the Heinrichter, you're going to gain a huge boon to your aim down sight of 5%, as well as a little bit of aim down sight movement speed, which isn't really a big deal, but it's there. And with the Heinrichter, you get a very, very clean optic as well as the stock. They're both beautiful optics. This will be your more aggressive in your face build for this with your quick shots if you are able to hit your shots reliably. However, you would want to use the FJX Blast bolt if you are more worried about having to follow up. I prefer to run the gun with this build on screen right here, though I will switch to the Blast for Rebirth Island. This gun is by far the best sniper in the game right now, bar none. Put this in your loadouts and absolutely clap people. I mean, the last thing I'll show you here is within that 46.2 meter range, you're going to do 250 to the chest. This drops to 240 out to 67.5 meters. So you're going to absolutely slap people with this. Thing is insane. And then, all right, for your full auto guns, this one can be used as a mainline weapon or it can be used in sniper support. I would use this build for both. We're going to start with the VT7 Spirit Fire Suppressor. We're going to get stability, recoil, velocity, and range out of this. Spirit Spirit Fire is incredible. We all know this. It gives stats to everything that you could possibly want, giving us a 929 meter per second bullet velocity and a very controllable gun with a 333 ADS and a 201 sprint to fire. This is on par with an AR used in sniper support, built this way. I have the Intless Cast 14 on. You can go with the Glassless. You can also go with the LSJ3. Any of these are absolutely viable. You can also use the Slate Reflector or something else if you prefer. I just like the added stability from the Glassless or the CAS 14. We're gonna use the 60 round mag because we do need that 60 rounds of ammunition to get the job done. You could probably get away with 45 in solos, but you have to worry about the third party a little bit harder there. And once again, high velocity, if I did not say so, to up our velocity all of the way. The Jack Patriot to turn this full auto, of course. This is an incredible gun that a lot of people aren't using. With the Fallout bundle out, I'm sure you'll see a lot of it here in the coming days. Just heads up, this gun pulls hard to the left, so be ready to pull your sticks down into the right or up into the right if you don't play inverted like I do on controller, or to sling your mouse down into the right. And then, all right, I know this is a long range video, but I did want to throw a little sneaky guy in here for you. This is the Haymaker. The Haymaker is top tier meta again because out to 10 meters, this is a 3-shot kill. To 10 meters, you can kill a target in 3 shots. With the Dragon's Breath, you also essentially blind them, so it is extremely hard for them to shoot you. However, there is a downside, and the only downside that I found with this is a sprint to fire time being 251 milliseconds. You do have to anticipate your fights, or you may lose them. Other than that, this build is absolutely phenomenal. We're going to use the Bryson choke to bring all of our pellets together as close as possible, hopefully getting all 4 of them to hit our target at that 10-meter range. It is possible to get a 2-shot kill where you hit all 4 pellets in the first 2 shots on the head. We're going to use the Imperator long barrel to push out our range as far as possible, then throw on the no stock mod to get all of our movement, ADS, sprint to fire, etc. Dragon's Breath because it's Dragon's Breath, and the 20-round drum because this is the largest we have. You do not want to use the aftermarket part kit here because it's obnoxious and it turns it into a potato gun. It does essentially no damage. This thing is absurdly good. Back into our longer range options, however, I have the M13B or M13 Bravo. This is a favorite of my gun since the day it was added with Season 1 last year. I have not been able to quit it, and it has been in the meta the entire time. This gun is back, I would say, an S tier meta. Absolutely claps. The only problem you will run into is you will have to carry muni boxes at all times. Pretty much you should have an extra stack of AR. Other than that, it will absolutely fry at 300 meters and it will fry at 3 meters. Sonic suppressor because we want to up our range and our velocity. SP10 angled grip because it's the best grip in the game for this slot. You want to get the stability, that horizontal recoil, and just absolutely fry. Do not use the Bruin Heavy because this hurts your aim down sight and is just not as good as the SP10. High velocity because we don't need the maximum range. It is better to not get the recoil loss from high grain. And then the 60 round mag because it's the largest option that we have. And I use the KR Mortis Precision 2.5 times, where you can use the Eagle Eye if you would like. You can use the AOK RQ9 Precision 4 times, glintless optic. There are so many choices for an optic. Even the glassless is viable here. The M13 Bravo is an absolute banger. And then another Modern Warfare 2 gun back in the top of the meta is the Tac-V. You heard me right. The Tac-V is top tier, god tier meta once again. BT7 Spirit Fire Suppressor, SP10 angled grip. This is for range, velocity, stability, and recoil control. This will make it extremely easy to control. High velo because once again, we want to keep that recoil out. We're not so much worried about pushing our damage range out to the maximum as we are making sure we get the velo to hit our shots and making sure the gun can do what it does. 50 round drum, largest option we have, and I use the KR Intless LSJ3 on this because not only do I get the 3 times zoom, but I also get an increased stability and a little bit of aim down sight from the optic. The Tac-V is absolutely at the top of the meta right now for your AR/BR LMG meta. This thing is an absolute demon. Stop sleeping on it because it slaps the Hoger 26. Best in slot, bar none. Another gun people are constantly sleeping on is the Baz-B or Baz Bravo. The Siga MCX Spear is absolutely incredible. Very similar build to that we have been using. BT7 Spirit Fire Suppressor, range, velo, stability, etc. Going to use the Venom long barrel to get recoil, range, velocity, etc. SP10 angled grip, once again, horizontal, aim stability, velocity, and it's only going to cost us a little bit of vert recoil. This attachment is so overpowered. 45 round mag is the largest we have, but with our fire rate, you will absolutely slap at range, and it does not matter that it's only 45. This gun feels like the AMAX did back in Warzone 1. Again, I'm using the KR Mortis Precision 2.5 times. However, you can use the optic of your choice. I just love the Mortis. The Mortis is so much better than the Eagle Eye. I'll fight you over it. And then since I showed you the Haymaker, I should probably show you the best shotgun in the game, and this is a 2-shot to 12 meters, and it absolutely fries. However, it is high risk and high reward. You only get 6 shells before having to reload 1 shell at a time, so keep that in mind. This thing is so much fun in duos. I would never run it in quads. Going to the 10-round tube is not worth it because you lose half of your range. So 12 meters, 2-shot kill, 6 rounds in the tube, you're guaranteed 2 kills every time if you can hit your shots. Bryson choke once again to make sure our pellets all hit. Bryson hammer forged barrel to push out our range as far as absolutely possible. Sawed off mod to get all of our movement, and ADS sprint to fire up. Express light bolt so we can fire those shells as fast as possible, and then the demo X40 tactical so we can rechamber faster and keep on the move. The Lockwood 680 is an absolute monster. This thing is scary. If you get inside of a building with it and someone has it, they will absolutely dumpster you. No need for Dragon's Breath here because it destroys your range on this one. Just good old-fashioned buckshot and get the job done. This thing is phenomenal. However, I would not run it behind a sniper. And all right, we talked about the Hoger 26 in the close range video yesterday, and I typically, if you're new here, do include 1 or 2 guns from the close range in the long range video and vice versa. So let's talk about the Hoger 556. Very similar build to that of the 26, but I would say the Hoger 556 is better unless you're in trios or quads due to the 40 round mag being the largest we have. Exact same build here as the Baz-B for the same reasons. Spirit fire suppressor, SP10 angled grip, the long barrel, in this case being the Krios 6 match. It needs the 40 round mag, largest we have, and then I use the KR Mortis 2.5 precision because it is the optic that I like the most. Use the optic you're comfortable with. If you haven't used the Mortis, give it a shot. This gun is absolutely phenomenal. Another S tier rifle. And then season 1 called because they want to bring their meta back, and that is with the MTZ 762. This thing is absolutely slapping in solos and duos. And once again, it's a 0 recoil option, but it absolutely slaps at all ranges. BT7 Spirit Fire Suppressor, MTZ Precision Black Barrel, so your long barrel that gives you the velocity out the wazoo to make sure you can hit your shots. OLAV laser for the stability, aim down sight, and sprint to fire. 30 round mag, largest option we have. And I actually use the AOK 4x RQ9 Recon as my optic on this because I have no glint. I have that 4x zoom, so I can absolutely slap targets with Car 98s or the Imperium at that 250 to 300 meter range. You can absolutely fry targets cross map with this, just like in season 1. And then staying on brand, we need to talk about the MTZ 556 because it is also inched way up the meta. I would put this as like an A+ or an S- on the tier list. The MTZ 556 is incredible. The only downside is you only have a 50 round mag instead of a 60. This is essentially this year's M13B. It feels very similar. So we built it out with the VT7 Spirit Fire Suppressor, range, velo, stability, and recoil. The Clinch Pro Barrel, range, velocity, and recoil. I believe a little stability as well. SP10 angled, horizontal recoil, and stability. 50 round drum, largest option we have. And once again, KR Mortis Precision because that is the optic that I like the most. Use the one that tickles your fancy, but this gun is not one to sleep on. Back over to the Modern Warfare 2 guns, we've got another S tier gun that is absolutely slapping and has so much damage. It is insane. The Rpk-H will absolutely fry an entire quad without even lifting off the trigger. BT7 Spirit Fire Suppressor for the same reason as always. OLAV laser to speed up our aim down and sprint outs, as well as stability. SP10 angled grip so we can get some horizontal recoil as well as more stability. The high velo ammo so we can push our velocity through the ceiling, and then finish off with optic of your choice, or in my case the KR Mortis Precision because it's the best in the game. The velocity on this gun is absurd for what it is. We're pushing almost 1100 meters per second on that bullet velocity with a fire rate of 800, and our shots are doing between 32 and 45 damage per shot. This gun is ridiculous with a 75 round drum. And then all right, I got one more to talk to you about, and this is my current favorite sniper support option, and I even take this over the Saperi. The Tempest Razorback is S tier. It is incredible. This gun gun absolutely fries out to about 70 meters with this low grain build. We're going to use the M35 compensator, recoil control, and to kick us off the mini map as much as possible. 13-inch Frenzy 9 barrel so we can get the 6 attachments with the short barrel as well as the optic. We're going to use the low grain ammo to get more recoil control there, the SP10 for the horizontal recoil and the stability, and then of course the 60 round mag because that is our largest option. This thing is absolutely wonderful as it is going to aim down sight in 254, sprint out in 152. You have almost no recoil, you have a beautiful optic, and it absolutely decimates. The Razorback is so good right now. The movement is top tier for a Modern Warfare 2 gun. There aren't any other ARs that can move this fast. The Razorback is absolutely a gun that you should try. And all right, boys, that's going to do it for me today. Come back tomorrow when I drop the bombshell and show you the guns that will absolutely replace the Kar 98, the Saperi, and the Horus. I shit you not. I'm going to break your brain even further tomorrow. Like the video and subscribe. And until next time, leave me alone.
And I'm sick of saying sorry every time that you couldn't love me. I'm sick of all the shit we talking. I'm sick of all the shit we talking. Am I pretentious or am I not? For thinking I'm the shit and knowing you're not. So call me a princess, get that a lot. At least I own up to the things that I'm not.